What's up, you guys? Welcome to the show. My name is Tech.
I'm Kojak.
And I'm Wink.
Hello. Someone new again.
Yes, indeed.
Kinda.
And this is Critique the Critics, the show where we take audience reviews, professional critic reviews, and anyone who responds to movies, and we critique them and make fun of them. For example, Empire Magazine said about Spaceballs, unforgivable then, unforgivable now.
Unforgivable.
Yes, indeed.
That's a strange quote.
It is a strange quote.
On brand for them.
Yeah, this is these are people who clearly hold grudges, for sure.
Particularly against the rebels.
Yes. I'm assuming that at some point they'll be like
Creative.
They'll be like
creative joke.
Yes. I'm assuming at some point they're just going to be like, "Oh yeah, well I remember back in 1987 when this movie came out, Mel." And he'll be like, "Well, dude, I thought we were arguing about who's going to take out the garbage." Jeez. So we're going to take a look at a professional critics review and audience reviews, and then of course give you some fake facts. So let's start things off with the professional critics review, and it's none other than Roger Ebert critiquing Spaceballs in 1987 when the movie came out
with a 2.5 star.
With 2.5 stars,
and because there weren't that many reviewers back then, this mattered.
Yeah, this mattered.
This movie would have done well if it weren't for him.
Instead of everybody and their mother thinking they're a movie critic just because they can put something on YouTube or Reddit or
I have a blog.
Read my blog. What I say is important. I know movies. No, you're just lonely.
Yeah.
All right.
God, that hit home.
Yeah. Never been so offended about something I agree with so much.
Did Mel Brooks make Spaceballs to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Star Wars saga? Last month, we celebrated the first decade of George Lucas's great entertainment, and now here is Brooks' satire, complete with Dark Helmet and Pizza the Hut. I never really thought about the fact that it was 10 years later, but probably did that on purpose.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
It sounds very Mel Brooksy.
It does.
What is the point in asking the question and answering it right away?
I don't know.
Also, like, it's a question that, like, I guess it's a question that can't really be answered unless you talk to Mel Brooks and he answers it.
Have you sat through a creative writing class?
Yeah.
This is the type of bullshit they teach you.
Oh, okay.
But
well,
also,
I didn't get that.
Also, it's like, did Shakespeare write this because of this? I don't know.
He might not have even written it.
Yeah. It's like,
that is fair.
Yeah. It's like, but thanks for asking.
Yeah.
People who can't answer that. I enjoyed a lot of the movie, but I kept thinking I was at a revival. The strangest thing about Spaceballs is that it should have been made several years ago before our appetite for Star Wars satires had been completely exhausted. Were there a lot of Star Wars satires?
Probably.
Or were we just hungry for them and never satiated?
I don't know, but
I'm assuming it's like the disco era, like a hit came out and then like everybody rushed to make like just bad knockoffs of it for some.
Knockoff is different than satire, though. I agree that people tried to make other sci-fi fantasy movies, but this is a satire / parody of it, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
I can't even name another one.
no, certainly not from that time.
He's confused.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, but there's going to be like 40 more years of plus more. But it doesn't stop.
You really thought the buzz about Star Wars ended? Conventions happened pretty early. Toys kept going. Like, it didn't stop. There have been books. There have been comics. And you're talking about 10 years later. There had been 10 years of stuff. Like, it didn't go away at all. In fact, the popularity increased.
Fair.
Because people got old enough to see it. And they watched it like 4,000 times at this point. Jeez. Also, when did like in the 80s is when VHS boom started too. So now VHS tapes are coming out. People are watching this shit at home. Prior to this, everybody had to actually go to the theater, watch it, and then they were like, man, I wish I could see that again. Too bad it's out of the theater now. VHS had been out for a while at this point. Everyone had a VCR and VHS tapes. Now they're memorizing the fucking movie. So, yeah, you're flat out wrong about that. Brooks first features the producers and the 12 chairs told original stories. Since then, he has specialized in movie satires. His targets include Frankenstein, Hitchcock, Westerns, silent movies, and historical epics.
And none of them hit. So that's really unfortunate for him. I don't know why he keeps doing that.
Yeah. I mean,
I appreciate the effort.
It's funny, like the 12 chairs is probably the one that did the worst out of all of them. It did okay.
I haven't even heard of the 12 chairs.
See?
I'm only a guest on the podcast here.
Don't worry. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Wow. You didn't have to admit it.
He also made Silent Movie, which wasn't even mentioned, but I usually...
he said silent movies.
Oh, yeah, I guess he did mention that. My bad. But also, why would he include silent movies as the parody? Silent Movie was an original story. That's weird. That's
a parody of silent movies, I guess
yeah.
And historical epics is the history of the world.
And The Producers is essentially a parody of musicals. So I don't understand why that's not even included.
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. I usually find a few very big laughs and a lot of smaller ones in his movies, but the earlier ones are stronger than the more recent films. And I keep wishing Brooks would satirize something current and tricky like the John Hughes teenage films instead of picking on old targets. Which you'll be very... I wonder what he thought of Not Another Teen Movie, because that's the movie that did it.
True, but wait, I don't understand. So Return of the Jedi came out in what, 83? And then when were the John Hughes movies? When was...
They were in mid to late 80s.
Yeah, so like, but how is Star Wars... I guess the original Star Wars is... the issue. I was going to say it's not, but John Hughes movies.
You make a good point though, because Return of the Jedi is 83, so he's talking about 10 years. The buzz is over, but it's really 4 years,
right? And he's saying that's an old target, and that the John Hughes movies wouldn't have been old target. I guess
it's a newer target, but honestly, is 4 years old now? These aren't iPhones. Like they're really popular franchises.
4 years is old depending on what grade you're in.
Yes. 4 years is old depending on who you're dating too. That's definitely true. But yeah, I am very curious what he would think about Not Another Teen Movie, because that's literally doing what he wanted. It just happened in the 90s.
Right.
Or was it in the 90s? I think it was the late 90s, right?
Yeah, I think it definitely was.
Yeah. With Spaceballs, he has made the kind of movie that didn't really need a Mel Brooks. In bits and pieces, one way or another, this movie already has been made over the last 10 years by countless other satirists. Who? You keep naming this. I really want to know who you're talking about.
I will watch that movie.
I will too. The only one I can think of is Hardware Wars, which is a nonsensical, like, 10-minute movie that makes fun of Star Wars and is ridiculous. It literally, like, Luke Skywalker's named Lukewarm. And and it's literally like toasters flying around and shooting bread at each other. It's not like highbrow at all. I own it on DVD because I watched it when I was a little kid. My brother got it for me. That's literally the only one I can think of. It is not feature length. It is ridiculous and not well written and stupid as hell. So if that's the only one, if that's what he's talking about, then man,
that really got him. He was like, that was enough.
He's like, oh man, that shit's Tolstoy.
One.
Yeah. Yes. After a fabulous and increasingly funny opening shot of one of those massive George Lucas space cruisers, he launches into a cheerfully silly song about the planet Spaceball and its attempt to steal the atmosphere of its peaceful neighbor Druidia. The heroes and villains are all clones of Star Wars regulars. Bill Pullman is Lone Star, freelance space jockey. John Candy is Barf, a Mog, half man, half dog. Rick Moranis is Dark Helmet, always complaining about something. That was an interesting description of Dark Helmet.
Or Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Which one is it? Dark Helmet was fine, but Rick Moranis would shut the hell up. Oh man.
I wish he would just leave Hollywood and stop making movies.
Yeah, seriously. Oh wait, Daphne Zuniga plays Princess Vespa. It says princes, but Clearly a typo. she plays two different princes.
That turns into one princess.
Or it turns into a spin doctor song. Two princes.
Wow.
Brooks himself gives two of the movie's best performances as Scroob, the president of Spaceball, and as Yogurt, the wise old man who keeps saying, "May the Schwartz be with you," as if he's sure it will eventually get a laugh.
I don't know. I found that really funny when I was a kid.
Also, keeps saying it. It's not like he just kept repeating the fucking thing. He says it like two, maybe
May
three
the Schwartz
times.
be with you.
Yeah. And there, one of them is a doll that he's pulling a string on. It's not even him. It's "May the Schwartz be with you." Adorable. That's like it's not him. It's not him saying it. The movie's dialogue is constructed out of funny names, puns, and old jokes. So yeah, fucking Mel Brooks never does that.
Yeah.
Ever. I wish we went back to the old Mel Brooks where funny names like Hedley Lamar and Taggart. Come on. And Igor. This is just fucking ridiculous. Sometimes it's painfully juvenile, but there are some great visual gags in the movie, and the best is Pizza the Hut, a creature who roars and cajoles while cheese melts off its forehead and big hunks of pepperoni slide down its jowls.
Yes, Mel Brooks, we will give you the money to make this.
That was that was the favorite gag in the whole movie. Really?
It's a pretty good gag.
It's great, but that's weird. Like, there's so much stuff, and you're like, you know what? Dom DeLuise is a giant pizza thing.
He wrote this and skipped breakfast.
There we go. Yeah, he was just hungry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you asked if I had seen Spaceballs, and I was like, of course I've seen Spaceballs. And then I started thinking, what do I remember about Spaceballs? And Pizza the Hut was the first thing that came to mind.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting.
We ain't found shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That's always the first thing I remember.
It's one of the funniest parts in the movie. I don't know. How do you review a movie like this anyway? I guess by saying whether you laughed or not. I did not laugh, but not... I did laugh. Sorry. I did laugh, but not enough to recommend the film. I keep waiting for Mel Brooks to do something really great instead of these machine-made satires where 3/4 of the invention goes into the special effects technology. Really? I guess. I mean, it wasn't that great.
No, it wasn't.
As far as special effects.
And I don't feel like they ever tried to make it look great either.
No, not at all.
Right.
And I guess...
Like the Millennium Falcon was like a van, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah, it was a Winnebago.
Yeah.
I did laugh, but not enough. Sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
You went to a comedy, it's like, I laughed, but I should have laughed more. It's like someone literally just brought you joy, and you're like, not enough joy.
More joy, please.
To me, a bad comedy is when I'm like, this sucks. It's not funny at all, and I never laugh.
The only time
Like,
you
if
can
you
say
make
more
me-
joy, please, is when you're out of dish soap.
Exactly. If you go to a comedy movie and you don't laugh at all, you can definitely say something. But if you get some laughter out of a comedy, I'm not saying it makes it a great movie, but it successfully made you laugh. That's the whole frickin' point, right?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, as a producer of other people's movies, Brooks has an amazing track record. His company made The Elephant Man, My Favorite Year, Francis, and The Fly. But Brooks's intelligence and tastes seem to switch off when he makes his own films and he aims for broad, dumb comedy. Wait, come on. He literally is making those things because that's not the movies he makes.
Or interested in making.
Yeah, he doesn't make those, but he likes them and likes supporting people who will make them.
Yeah.
You can't go, hey, Mel Brooks, can you make The Elephant Man instead? Are you kidding me?
What a waste of Mel Brooks that would be. That would, I mean, if I knew what I know now and then we erased it and I saw what happened, I'd be like, there's a huge hole where Mel Brooks goes.
And it's directing The Fly.
Yeah. Why hasn't Trey Parker and Matt Stone remade The Pianist?
And that's what I've been wondering for years.
For sure. Why haven't they done that? You know, I'm waiting for Tom Green to come out with The English Patient. Fuck you, man.
Actually, I would
I would probably watch
Probably
that.
wants that. Daddy, do you want some English? Daddy, do you want some English?
Jokes about names with dirty double meanings are his big specialty. Maybe the reason Spaceballs isn't better is that he was deliberately aiming low, going for the no-brainer satire. What does he really think about Star Wars or anything else for that matter? The point of this satire is not for him to say like Star Wars is good. Like it's not. It's
just to go Star Wars.
It's to be like that's funny. It's in fact satire is one of the biggest forms of compliments you can give. Usually when you satire something, it's because you liked it enough to make fun of it.
Yeah.
People
Imagine how miserable you'd be making a satire about something you hated.
That would be awful. That would be absolutely awful if you were doing that. And I mean, at that point, you do more of a parody, like making fun of it situation.
Right.
Then it becomes disrespectful. He did this like respectfully. You could tell that he likes Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did a parody on Logan Paul, you could tell that we're not doing it respectfully, you know?
No, because he would just be making weird noises instead of talking the whole time.
Exactly.
A jaw the size of Leno.
Leno's jaw, for sure. Except a little more chiseled. Well,
whose
That's
jaw?
going to be the name of his biography.
My chiseled jaw.
Leno's jaw.
Leno's jaw.
Leno's jaw.
Brooks got his start as a writer for Sid Caesar, and sometimes he still seems to be writing for early 1950s television. He is smarter than his films, and sometimes that translates into a feeling that he underestimates his audience. Really? Okay. He is potentially a great comedy director. In 1987, he should be making Star Wars satires. May the Schwartz help him to realize his potential already. Why shouldn't he?
I mean, that's kind of... This isn't the best review, but that's also kind of like... that's kind of like an interesting like praise of him. He's like, I know how good he is.
Yeah, but that's like Jewish mother praise. That's like, you're not living up to your potential.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what I want to make, and I think it's pretty good. Nope.
Right.
Nope, you could make better.
But he recognizes it. He
But that's-
should be a doctor.
But that's crap.
But
that's
he's a
crap.
dentist.
Because that's the thing is saying to someone that he's not living up to his potential and is saying that what he's making that he's proud of isn't good enough.
No, sure, I get that. But
And that's messed up.
I'm just saying that like he recognizes him.
Sure.
As
Yes.
and not just like this is the best he can do. He
Yes.
should stop.
There is a level
Like
of
the
respect.
reviews that we see nowadays.
I agree.
So
Roger Ebert definitely had a level of respect, and honestly, that's why he's a legend as far as critics. I completely agree. I just think this is kind of a backhanded compliment, though.
Yeah, literally reread that. It says he is potentially a great comedy director.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
no, he is
great.
absolutely a great.
By the
comedy
time
director.
Star Wars happened,
Yeah.
he was already
like legendary.
I'm sure he's probably redacted this by now at some point because
It's-
he's one of the few that do that.
It's possible. It's
Like
possible.
when he did that with Ace Ventura. He went back and watched it again. It's like
Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and
They
Ebert.
both
yeah.
redacted their thumbs down because they were hella wrong,
Yeah.
and they didn't realize how good that was as far as comedy. But see, the thing that's frustrating for me about this is that one, a lot of these jokes are clever and intelligent, but jokes don't always have to be clever and intelligent. They just have to be funny.
Right.
You know, pratfalls and all these different, like sometimes Buster Keaton does something unbelievably creative and intelligent and like nothing you've ever seen before. And sometimes he just falls and you laugh.
Well, you're totally right.
you know.
That's the thing. Mel Brooks, it has like a kind of a vaudeville sensibility, and vaudeville is like lowbrow and highbrow. It just like runs the gamut.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just like Chaucer, where one second you have the most beautifully written thing you've ever heard in your life, and then the next second it's literally a guy climbing up a ladder, and then his face goes into a person's ass,
Right.
Because their ass was sticking out of the window. Like the amount of like. I mean, Shakespeare was the king of dick and fart jokes, basically, but also said some of the most intelligent, beautiful things you've ever heard in your life. I actually think my personal favorite line in Spaceballs is when they try to turn off the self-destruct and it says out of order, and Rick Moranis goes, out of order, fuck, even in the future, nothing works. To me, that's fucking brilliant. That's an absolutely brilliant line.
Yeah.
And I don't take that as just like stupid, nonsensical comedy. I take that as someone who's actually good at this and not has the potential to
Right.
be.
Fair.
And now's the part of the show where we read fake facts about Spaceballs. None of these are true. Or are they?
The Force-like power that Yogurt teaches to Lone Star in the film is called the Schwartz. Other potential names for the power were the Farce, the Fierce, the Power, the Magic, and the unending strength of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was directly based on Spaceballs. This is why most people see it as a comedy.
The robot character Dot Matrix is not a costume. After years of plastic surgery, that was actually what Joan Rivers looked like without makeup. This has been Fake Facts about Spaceballs. What an excellent segment! Oh, that's my Joan Rivers. I can't do anything else.
I mean, it was perfect.
It's not bad, right?
If
Not
you
bad.
did that, I'd be like, I know that's Joan.
I know that's Joan Rivers, or someone who has a serious smoker's cough.
Yeah.
Joan Rivers, age 15.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a smoker's cough. It's that Adam's apple.
This is just how I am. Melissa. I don't like. I love Joan Rivers, and I think she's one of the funniest people in the world. But later on, she got very annoying to me. And then she had a daughter, and I was like, no way anyone could be more annoying. And wow, was I wrong. That like she, good Lord. But
I don't know enough about her to know if she's annoying.
I just don't like the red carpet stuff. That's all. That's all it was.
I don't even know enough.
Yeah, it was
about
just the red carpet stuff. I think Joan Rivers is a funny person, a brilliant comedian, and everything else I've seen her do. But the second it was like, "What are you wearing? Oh, it's gorgeous!" Like all that crap. I'm like, I've had enough.
Well, we might as well keep with the annoying.
Yeah,
and read some Rotten Tomatoes review.
Bam! Why don't you start it up?
Yeah,
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. 0 stars. It insults Star Trek and Star Wars. It's not funny. It's brutal, mind-numbing, low-budget style torture.
Don't make fun of things.
And also, if you're gonna torture me, use a lot of money, please.
Man, they shoehorn Star Trek in there, and I know why. It's literally just the beam me up snotty scene. That's like really the only Star Trek thing that happens. And they're like, "Where's the Star Trek?" or whatever. So I get it. But to insult it, I mean. It's
right.
You're treating it like it's your baby, like Star Wars and Star Trek are yours.
It's a baby.
It's I mean, I guess you got to coddle it. It's only been 4 years, Mel. It's only been 4 years.
It's Garen M stands for Garen made Star Wars.
That is the actual
Garen Lucas.
What a long last name.
I guess I'm going to try to read this.
Okay, so this is actually readable, and when you do read it, it is actually kind of funny.
So I see what's happening. It's a Unicode error.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was funny as a child in the 80s, and as an adult, it's still not funny. Comb the desert. Stupid joke, not funny. That was the thing.
That was your favorite joke. It was the thing you remember the most.
Found shit.
That's literally the thing you remember the most. It's so funny. I will say I respect you for giving it another shot. Most people don't do that. So I do respect the fact that you were like, you know what? I'll give it another go. I do find it weird to not think it's funny as a child. Hearing the word asshole in that early scene cracked me the fuck up. I was like, this whole asshole scene, I'm not supposed to hear that or say that. And this is the funniest thing.
That was my computer sound when I turned it on.
Keep firing assholes.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow? Whoa. Back when you could like change all the sounds. I wonder if you can still do that.
Man, probably can.
To be a kid and not think that's funny is just sad, you know? All right, let's see what's next. Did living, breathing adults seriously write this? Real mature.
Wow, you're fun.
Wow, man. Hey, I can't wait to go to a 5-star restaurant with you and quietly eat.
He oils his bamboo wine and cheese platter.
Yeah, exactly. If someone goes...
And has 3 of them.
Yeah. When someone's like, what are you doing this weekend? You go, I don't know. Picking out a new cutting board.
Why? What did you think I was going to do? Something stupid?
Yeah.
I'm going to be an adult.
Exactly. You just picture this person spending like 5 hours looking at the different color palettes for paint in Home Depot.
Yeah.
Feel like, man, exciting weekend.
Excuse me, is there a blue tint to this gray?
You've asked
to
me.
this gray?
Listen, there's other people who need help. You've asked me this 50 times. Other people, okay?
How many shades of fuchsia do you have in bear paint?
I don't even know what fuchsia is. I work where all the screws are.
He farted in public once and was shamed and disappointed with himself for a long time.
Exactly.
All right, this is you, Jared.
Oh, it could be very funny, but except for a few things, is actually pretty boring.
Cocky R. That's who wrote this.
No, the R stands for rewrite, actually, because apparently it could be funny.
Uh-huh.
But see, this is one of those things that pisses me off when someone like says this vague thing with no explanation.
Right.
How could it be very funny? What was it missing? What is your point?
Well, except for a few things that were pretty boring.
What?
Yeah, no, but that's the point.
What? Your review has a fucking ellipses. What? I don't know what you're saying to us. It's really frustrating. You're that cocky.
Oh, man. Next one. I was really looking forward to this movie. I'm not sure I made it halfway through or not.
That's fair.
Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
If you leave in the middle of a movie, you wouldn't know if you made it halfway or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, you could math it.
You could math. And
this is 2015. You were looking forward to the movie, and I'm assuming because someone told you it was good, I guess. I mean, I can't think of... And I feel like if someone didn't do a good job of telling you what this was, that's my guess.
I mean, he was like, dude, there was no Darth Maul.
Yeah.
There was no double-sided lightsabers. Yeah, this was just garbage.
Yeah. There was no double-sided Schwartz.
No. No Jar Jar.
I see your Schwartz is double-sided.
That's a lot to unpack.
Or pack. Well. Love James Bond movies.
Excuse me, wrong aisle. You need to go down 2 more.
Yeah, I'm afraid. This to me.
Of course, this is a Tamara.
Yeah, to me, this is just a grandmother trying to relate to their grandkids.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them James Bond movies, Grandma. This is Star Wars. That's what I said. Star Trek. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the grandma that her Facebook feed is. Her Google searches.
Right. Exactly. She makes you breakfast and you come downstairs. She's making blue waffles because she doesn't understand.
Oh, no.
This movie was balls.
Oh, man. Wow.
A swing and a miss.
Genius review. Oh, what a brilliant thing to say. You know what's the thing that sucks the most about this review is this is probably one of 800 of them.
Yeah.
Like if I kept looking for audience reviews, I probably would have found this like, oh, my balls are better than these balls.
Yep, balls all right.
Yeah, there's not enough space for these balls in my collection. And
Stop it.
I'm just saying that's probably it's because everyone's so goddamn clever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Jared, thanks for hanging out.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks
as
for
always.
being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you didn't
Hey,
know,
you're welcome, dude.
Jared has done a lot of stuff with us, keeps doing a lot of stuff with us. You can go to Winky Dink Media, which is his YouTube channel. We actually do things on there with him sometimes. Also, if you're listening to this on one of the podcast platforms, make sure you subscribe so you can keep hearing our stuff twice a week. And if you are on YouTube, of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do all of the things so that you can find out the next time we have an episode. And until we see you guys next time, geek out and game on.
Bye.